Hey, business building warrior, got a treat for you today. Have you ever heard anyone say online arbitrage is dead? It's harder than it used to be. Well, you need to send them to this podcast episode. You need to listen to this one. If you've ever been under the impression that shopping online for great inventory to sell on Amazon is dead or dying or harder than it used to be, how about we go meet a kid who's doing, and I call him a kid, I mean, he's a young man who's done a brilliant job. Started selling when he was about 16 in high school. And here he is about a decade later. He's in his mid 20s. He just did 8 figures of online arbitrage on Amazon in 2025. He jumped into our Facebook group to give everyone an update on how he's doing. He's crushing it. Great margins, great business, having fun, traveling, building a beautiful business, loads of credit card points. He shares today, it cracked me up. He said, I could go live in the Hyatt in Miami for the next 8 months on my points. Pretty incredible. Just illustrates what's possible. I'm not saying run out and do exactly what this guy's doing. You could if you want to, but it definitely illustrates what's possible. When we say all the time around here that this is a blue ocean opportunity that's in its infancy, you've got a decision to make. You can either go look for details out there that proves that I'm wrong when I say that, and you can find plenty of negativity out there, or you can go find the loads of people who are out there doing it and making it happen. We bring them to you week after week after week. This show is committed to bringing you story after story after story of real people who have built real businesses using the strategies we teach here to accomplish amazing things. We don't do that to shove it in your face or make you feel bad. We do that so that part of your brain that's saying, I wonder if this is even possible, has to really struggle because you're surrounded with a literal army of people who are making it happen and doing it. This is the lowest risk, lowest cost, lowest barrier to entry, highest odds of success business model in all of e-commerce and possibly anywhere. From our vantage point, you're crazy to ignore the opportunity of selling on Amazon and helping fill all that underserved, understocked, and completely unstocked shelf space. And it can be done as simply as ordering products online, having them sent to a prep center, which is what Stephen does. You never see or touch your product. You don't have to. That's what we teach here. So enjoy hearing what's possible today. I asked him I think, some pretty good questions that you'll find helpful and useful, insightful. The mindset of an 8-figure Amazon seller using online sourcing. He's sourcing his product from websites that any of us could source from. He shared with me some of the sources. I'm not going to tell him on the episode today. I'm not looking to create, a bunch of people rushing to try to figure out what exactly it is that he sells, but he tells us the categories. And it's a handful of stores, a few dozen stores that he shops at online, retail stores, mind you, just using retail certificates to prove the authenticity, retail receipts, I should say, to prove the authenticity of his inventory. It's a simple business model. I'm not trying to oversimplify what it means to work and build a business, but this is simple stuff to explain and understand and begin to scale into at whatever level you're comfortable. So thanks for hanging out with me today. Let's get Stephen Reinhart on the line right now and enjoy his story. Let's go. So Stephen, good to see you again, man.
Good to be back. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it always. You're an inspirational figure in the e-commerce Amazon selling space, and it's always a pleasure to connect with you again and hear what you've been up to. But how about we start at the beginning for people who might not know who you are and why you got into e-commerce, and we'll kind of roll from there.
Yeah, so I guess I flipped my first product in elementary school. Go kind of pretty far back. My poor mom had to deal with a ton of things with me, wanting to always buy and sell things. But my real eBay business started in 6th grade with my first e-commerce. I'd buying like shoes from Ross Dress for Less, flipping them on eBay. Fast forward a couple years, I have my driver's license at this point. So now I'm driving around to flea markets, yard sales, garage sales, all these different things, packing my mom's house full of junk that she doesn't want there, but just keep reselling. And then took a few years off, did something else, and then got into Amazon. And that's where the spark just hit. So with the Amazon journey, we'll go to the start. I was moving to Florida, the girl I was with at the time, and when I had my eBay business, I couldn't move all of my inventory from Pennsylvania to Florida. So I had to figure out some other way not to get a real job and to be able to still have my freedom and do everything. And after some research, I stumbled upon Amazon FBA and started reselling used books. Started doing like 30,000, I think, a month used books, and then started some retail arbitrage. Started scaling that up to like $70,000 a month. And then at that point, I was actually moving to Florida. And when I was moved to Florida, I was doing a lot of grocery outlet at the time. And then when I went to Florida, there was no grocery outlet. So I was actually flying home once a month and picking up, hitting like, I don't know, 15 different stores in 2 days, throwing everything in the back of the truck. Then I would go pack it for 3 days and then fly back down to Florida. So, and then after doing that for a couple months, I started playing with online arbitrage, which actually took me quite a while to get the hang of it. And then ever since, I've just been doing online arbitrage and scaling that up.
Phenomenal. And you made a post in our Facebook group about, I think it was, we had a handful of just mind blowing posts this year, more than we've ever had, putting up some big numbers. What did you do in 2025?
I don't know, 30 days, like 1.7. I
December
think it
was
was like,
1.7 million.
yeah, not like
2025. Yeah.
2020. No, wait, this year was like 3 point something. The year before that was 1.7.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Okay.
In like that 30-day span, this year we ended, well, I guess last year we ended at like 1.5, sorry, 10.5 million
Total
on the year.
for
Yes.
the year. Yes. And in your December was a big chunk of that.
Yep. 100%. We did about 3 point something in December.
Yeah, you bought a lot of inventory in December. But the thing that I love about the posts, and I should have revisited it before this podcast episode, so I could speak with clarity here. But are you not, if not 100% OA, like the vast
I-
majority of what you're doing is
I'm
online arbitrage?
99% OA.
99% OA. Yeah, mind blowing. And and to me, I want to spend a minute there because here we've got an 8-figure business that is 99% online arbitrage. And I just want to let that sit, and hopefully people share that because I've been hearing literally probably since before you were born that online arbitrage is dead.
Yeah.
Right? Like in the early days of eBay, people are like, well, anyone can shop online now, or even RA, retail arbitrage, going in store. It's dead, man. Anyone can do it. It's so, it's so oversaturated. And you've heard the statistics recently, Stephen, haven't you, about what percentage of retail spending in the US is online? Have you heard that lately?
I probably have, but I should be brushed up on it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, you're so involved in this world. Where would you say we are? Traditional spending versus online spending. How does
Probably
that break down?
60% online, I'm guessing.
60% online. Right.
Yeah.
I love that you're so far off and don't even realize it. This industry is more in its infancy than you realize. Okay. Go check Chat GPT when we're done, or Google it to back up what I'm about to say. We're less than 20% online right now.
Damn.
Less than 20% online. Amazon's about half that. So Amazon's about 10% of retail spending in the US, approximately, right? That's the pool we're playing in right now. So you've got an 8-figure business, young guy with a small team, just some, aggressive strategy, and you're going after it. The future is bright. That's the point I want to make. And it's all being done online arbitrage style. That's just phenomenal. I'm so excited to have a story like yours to kind of hold up. It reminds me, stories like yours, Stephen. I'll turn it back to you in just a moment because I'm kind of soapboxing, but I'm just enjoying the moment because I hear from the dissenters saying, it can't be done, can't be done. I'm like, well, the people who are saying it can't be done, please step aside. Well, those of us who are doing it, keep killing it, right? Get out of our way, man. So congrats. It's a beautiful business model. What were your net margins on that, if you happen to know
We
approximately?
were right December. I know I posted in the group. I think like most of the year were like 13 to 15%.
Mhm.
And then December, I think we were like 18%, 18 to 20, if I'm remembering right off the top of my head. But I run a pretty large like a larger margin for my business. Just I'm
Yep.
able to do that with my
Yep.
skills and
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, exactly. How big is your team?
It's grown since the last podcast, but I think we're on 8 people, or 7 or 8 people, and one US based person besides myself.
That's phenomenal. Yeah. And what's
Yeah.
your routine? What's your involvement day to day in the office?
My job is just a source and just like I always my team knows this too. Like I don't do anything that's beyond like making purchasing decisions, like large purchasing decisions. If they want to buy 5 pairs of shoes, I'm not going to question it as long as it's from a trusted site, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're going to buy, 10, 20, $30,000 worth of product or of an ASIN, obviously I want to look at it. And just most of my time, like my specialty myself is in the sourcing aspect. But like you get me like the admin, like my admin VA knows more about that than I do because it's not my specialty. Obviously, I've had a trainer, get her help with training, stuff like that. But I really only lean into the sourcing side. So like, I have a buying team who their job is just to place orders day in and day out
Yep. I can
and
imagine
get
it's a lot of orders.
yep,
Is
get
this
through the
virtual
order.
assistants now or VAs? Or are you using US based talent?
One US based person who's mainly just kind of like different tasks and working on stuff. Not as much like things like it's hard to give a VA because they just don't understand like the US psychology to an extent. So just like it's like hiring, like work on building out the team. Maybe if it's reaching out to a company, just different things that they're working on, not as much like sourcing, purchasing, admin, and those buckets. So with that, it's 2 buyers. Within those 2 buyers, one of them is my right hand guy. And there's 3 admin. And then there's like we have some part time people. So like sometimes it's a significant other of like we have a big sale hypothetically,
Mm-hmm.
and we're trying to get a lot of inventory. Like I'll bring on like a spouse or 2 at a time with them because I don't hire them full time. I won't, but I will bring them on if they're like, hey, I want to work extra hours, want to make some money. Sure, yeah, you can come on and help click some buttons and purchase with us. Like I have no issues with that. And it helps us get our job done quicker, especially if we're trying to buy, 20, 30,000 units in a day and trying to get it as quickly as possible.
Right. Right. And this is all OA, online arbitrage. That is just so incredible. What categories do you play in primarily? And don't answer any
Clothing,
questions you're uncomfortable answering.
you're all good. Clothing, apparel, beauty, some grocery. I plan anything that makes me money. I'm not hell bent on one category or another. I just go to like where I can find the most profit and what really works, what I truly understand.
Mhm. And this is just me entertaining myself with questions right now, and I'm hoping the listeners enjoy it as well. But at the scale you're at, what are the most inconvenient aspects of this business?
Truthfully, probably order cancels. As rarely as they do come to us, it's just that. And then reconciliation is a whole nother, I guess that's a whole nother nightmare in itself.
Tying the inventory to the ASIN that it was intended to be.
Like, did the retailer ship 10? They said they shipped 10 and we received 9.
Mhm.
Or, like they say they ship it, they print the label,
Okay.
but then it doesn't leave their warehouse. So like we're having to reconcile that. Or hypothetically, we get an order cancel. Did they give us our money back on the cancellation, or did we just get the email saying it's canceled? Like
Mhm.
those back end reconciliations are the most tedious part, especially at our scale. When you know, like in the last couple of days on the sale, we placed over 1,000 orders. Like reconciling, probably 2,000 boxes coming through, and then there'll be another one like something like that again in a couple of days, week. Like it comes quickly, so that's probably the most difficult and tedious part of it. Honestly, order cancels are kind of easy to get through once you know what you're doing, and dealing with that is just a skill based, I guess, to an extent.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I wouldn't have guessed that that was the pain point, but it makes sense at that kind of scale. Before we hit record today, you mentioned that you've turned off your own prep and you're using prep centers now,
Yeah,
right? Well, how's the math break down for you? What are you giving up doing it that way, or is it a net benefit?
it's because at my scale, I need to use multiple ones, especially with my strategy and what I do. If I kind of just hammer stuff, like they might not see me or hear from me for 2 weeks, they might not get product. Then they get 10,000 units through,
Mhm.
or, I'm just continuously hammering them through. Like hypothetically during Christmas time, we had 100,000 orders go through, like during Christmas time. So like with that being said, it's like people can just I can give my volume to other people. And yeah, I might pay occasionally a little bit more or sometimes a little bit less. But the net win is that I don't have to deal with it, nor do I have to deal with the employees, or do I have to deal like I just don't have to deal with anything. And I can be like, why is my product not going out faster? Kind of thing versus like, oh wait, I know why my product's not going out faster because maybe we have to work on another client, this or that, or I have to make this client happy.
Right.
Now I'm just able to be
Right.
the client, and
Yeah.
as a larger seller, you get a little bit more say when it comes to prep centers, and they want to work. They want to get your stuff out quicker too. So
Yeah. Yeah. That makes total sense. So you had other clients as well with your own prep services. How
yeah,
many clients did you get up to before you decided
probably
to
like
get out of that
30,
business? Yeah.
the ballpark of
Okay.
30. We were
Yeah.
doing like 60, 70,000 units a month
Right.
out of prep.
Right. But you just decided to specialize and trim your team down a little bit and be nimble, right? Which is I
Exactly.
think is a good word that describes you. You like to travel, you don't like to be tied down, and you don't want to be sitting there making decisions about insurance policy on a warehouse on a Tuesday afternoon if you don't have to be, right? So let
Exactly.
someone else worry about those little details. Yeah, the law of specialization. The most successful entrepreneurs I know, they can sum up their expertise on a little index card, and like that's what I do, and I hire professionals to do everything else.
Yup.
So if you had to say what it is that you're really good at, like what you kind of already alluded to the sourcing aspect, but what is the skill set that you bring that you think makes you so unique and able to achieve at this high level? Like what have you spent more time honing than the average seller might not have?
I mean, if you kind of look at my personality to an extent, I've been reselling for 10 years, which like I kind of just in my head of just flipping products. I think that helps. IEP, ADHD, like all those dyslexia, like all those different things that that hurt you during school.
Hmm.
For when it comes to OA, it's just like this is like a cakewalk to me
Hmm.
at least. So and it just comes so easily to me, like just pulling different codes and different things like that, or just figuring it out. It works really well for me. But like if you get me on the admin side, like my brain just does not work that way. So you
Yeah.
keep me in sourcing, you keep me over there. I'm great over there, and then that's why I have a great team behind me, which I wouldn't be able to do it without them to get to move the ship forward.
Yeah. You have to have a team to be at this scale. And you'd consider the prep centers that you use part of your team. I mean, your team doesn't have to be people that you hire, but it's people that are responding to you and helping drive the ship forward, as you said, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. Well, what else would you say to Amazon sellers? Just riff with me for a minute. I contend that the future is bright and getting brighter for this whole industry. That's why I teach it, because I think this is where you should plant your stake. Is this the only thing out there? Of course not. Diversify. But if you're saying I'm going to make the safest possible bet in the e-commerce is the fastest growing economic sector in the US. Amazon has more customers and it's growing like crazy. They're building new warehouses everywhere. I don't know if you're aware or not. One of
Yep.
the guys I play basketball with, he's not allowed to tell me how many they're building, but he knows. And he's like, dude, they're putting warehouses up all over the place. So, it's a growing, expanding opportunity. And I know that's my perspective, but what's your perspective? What's your, how many chips have you left on the table with this business? It sounds like you're all in to me.
Oh yeah. No, I'm all in a little bit more at times. But like I see the future is bright on Amazon. And I also see that, people have said online arbitrage is dead. Every aspect of Amazon is dead. And it's been dead for 10 years, according to common
Well,
belief.
20 if you're as old as me.
Yeah, like, and they've said that forever. And all it comes down to is time in the game and then figuring out what your exact skill set is and going after it. And just not changing your path, like on a quick tangent, like I see people on sometimes Instagram and stuff, they're trying, Amazon API, they try, wholesale brand direct, and they try all these different models. And it's like, if you just chose one thing to become really good at it, you would succeed, but you can't grow if you try to do everything and fully diversify at the start. once you're very successful, you have a team behind you, stuff like that, then it's time to maybe take some chips off the table, play in some different sandboxes. But at the start, like double down on something, just become really good at it. And I'm like, people are like, I want to learn how to source, all these different categories, all these different brands. I'm like, or just become really good at one of them, and then become really good at another one. Like we'll research brands and like I'll lose money sometimes for a year just trying to figure out how something works. And it's not, sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's a little bit, but I'll take risks on trying to figure out a website, a brand, things like that. And yeah, I sometimes get smoked on the product, but I keep doing the research. All right, what changed? What small aspect? What did I miss? And over time, it works. It's worked every single time I studied something. So it's just like studying websites, studying a product, that kind of stuff, the cycles, things like that. Amazon often, the stuff in the OA almost always repeats itself. If
Mm.
you see the sale one year, it's going to probably be the next year. It's things like that.
So you really are tapping into sales discounts, and do you guys use? I know a few people who are scale. I don't know if I know anyone the size of you. They're using gift cards, for
Oh
example,
yeah,
trim off an extra,
yeah,
3 or 4 points, which adds up fast. I bet
100%.
you've got some crazy mileage points on your credit card you're using. Just
Yeah, yeah. But I was running numbers. I can live in Miami for about 6 months with the amount of high points I have.
that's awesome. Live in
Um,
a Hyatt in Miami for 6 months.
yep, that's where I'll be next month.
That's great. That's so great. Yeah, I mean, just the side benefits and the creative ways you can start to stack and improve, and these little 1% adjustments are significant changes to your bottom line. So I imagine that's part of what you do too. Are you kind of the CFO monitoring those kind of things? Or you have someone on your team that's kind of helping with that too?
I mean, some of this, like, it's usually me who plays with it. Some of the cash back the team will get because my buying team will get, but like the good chunk of the cash back still comes to me on that front.
Those little 1% adjustments,
Yeah, the
anything you're a
one,
CFO.
yeah, like we do use gift cards, but like we also messed up with gift cards heavily too. So we lost about $150,000 in gift cards, just not realizing there's balances there. Like we just didn't reconcile for almost a year and found $150,000 of unused gift cards,
Ooh.
which was something I realized that we ran into the issue with. And there are services like, like Arbitrage card. I think I saw them at your event.
Yeah, his parents are from our community. He's a kid who grew up in this community, and he
Yeah.
launched that service. Talking about Taylor, right?
Yeah, Taylor. So Taylor's thing is awesome. Not like promotional at all, but like just because you're able to check the gift cards on it,
The
like
balances. Yeah, it
yeah,
tracks the
the
balances
balance
for
check on
you.
it.
Mhm.
So like with their service, we're able to actually check. Like we were using some other services and stuff like that too, where we were unable. Like I was just not checking balances. Like I was guessing they were using all the balances, and we found about $150,000 of gift cards just left
Unused
behind, which they're
balances.
using
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So those little adjustments that you make that add up to big numbers, and those are the skills you kind of learn on your way up, you know. So how long did it take you to? What are some of the benchmarks in your head? I think this is a more interesting way to ask this question. Like your first $1,000 day, or your first $100,000 month, or like what are some of those major checkpoints for you where you kind of feel like, okay, I'm at a new base camp now, to use a mountain climbing analogy. And what were some of those checkpoints like? Do you remember? Do you kind of think that way?
Not really. It's a game to me at the end of the day. It's like
Mhm.
I always have the most fun like in the moment. Like my favorite times were like in the book sales, boxing people out, like trying to keep it like at the start, like doing like retail arbitrage, like filling up the passenger side of a truck, not being able to see out of it, filling that stuff up, or like taking all the stock from a website. Like, those are more the memorable times in my Amazon journey.
Oh, I
I would
love
say
it. Well,
this
let's
year,
let's spend some time there then, because that's awesome. I don't think that way. I'm more the dollar sign tells me when I've hit something new, but you're more the thrill of the hunt. Like you don't care about what the numbers are going to be. You know they're coming. They're inevitable because you just strategically made a chess move that puts money in the bank 2 months from now, right?
yeah, like I
That's an
make my
exciting
money
moment
when
for
I
you.
purchase. I don't make my money
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
because I mean it'll make its money on the end, but like I have more fun at the forefront. I would say like the bigger. Wait, so what do you want me to unpack? I'm sorry
Well,
about that.
the big moments for you, for a lot of sellers, it's their first $50,000 a month or their first $500,000 a year, like, those checkpoints. But for you, it sounds like it's the strategic breakthroughs that get you excited. Like if you're thinking back of like the days when I wrote in my business journal, wow, today was a huge day. This happened. Like, what are some of those stories that stand out to you?
A couple of stories would be like, if we start early on, like, I guess, like, take going, like, grocery outlet to grocery outlet, just taking all the inventory and it's, like, the 100% ROI. I've got a couple grand in my name at the point, and it's like, "Holy crap," like, "I'm going to double my money," and it goes through, it works perfectly. I would say also, like, my first, like, 100K month was definitely important because I always was like, when I started, like, my goal was to do $1 million a year on Amazon. Like, I'll be set for life, like 10K profit a month.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then, I ended up just blowing through it. But I would say the more memorable time, like if I had to say this year, was definitely I raised $1 million of money like within like 2 days during Q4. It's pretty much just on other people's credit cards. Do not recommend this to anybody. Not financial advice. I have great ties to this community in
Yeah.
Amazon, and I was banging the phone asking people. I was able to get like right around $1 million, a little bit over it. Like no docs signed anything. Just people were like, they trust me. Here's my credit card. Ran that up, and paying that off like was probably the biggest milestone because I'm
Mm.
like, if something ever happened to me, I'll be fine. But other people I care more about, and like,
Yeah, your reputation, and I'm using other people's money now. There's a weight that comes with that, right?
yeah, especially being close friends too, who just trust you. And
Yeah. Wow, that's a cool story. So you put $1 million on a bunch of friends' credit cards
yeah,
and you paid them all back and you put what in the bank on the other side of that?
oh, like probably 2 to 300,000 profit.
After everybody had got a little piece of it
Yeah.
and you're
I'll give them
left
like
with
3% on their credit card, like, additionally, like,
Mhm.
let them make a little bit just for not unused credit,
Yeah.
and then I'll make money on the Amazon side, and it was nice too because like, when I was thinking about doing it, I'm like, "Alright, if I'm getting cash back from a website, that's gonna cover a lot of my cost of borrowing their money." So now it's practically free. I'll
Mhm.
obviously if I allocate the cash back to that and then, you know, make the money on the product. So that was fun and scary. Like we were 2 or 3,000 FBMs behind during Q4. Catching up on that was definitely a relief. Like I guess it's just a time when it just gets kind of scary. And it was like we had 18 people prepping just my FBM inventory during this Q4.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, a few of the
That's
big
crazy.
days. I think it was like the one day I think we had like 5 or 6,000 FBMs going out.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well,
So like,
yeah, that's I've never heard anyone doing that before. I'm just kind of processing out loud, like, hey, no contract. You got any empty space on any of your credit cards, bro? Yeah, sure. All right, let me use it. I'll give you that plus 3% a month from now or 6 weeks from now, right?
yeah,
While you're making, 12% or 15% total. You give them a piece of it and you're still come out ahead. Brilliant. I
yeah.
love it.
I mean, I
It,
always
it
too. I mean, what I also did with that is like I took a couple of my buddies. I'm like, wouldn't matter if I got a little behind, God forbid. Like, but I always made sure everyone else was on a plum card, so at least I had runway. So in
yeah,
case like something happened,
yeah.
I have like 30 days to figure it out
Sure. Yeah, that
or
makes
longer.
total sense. Yeah, but it speaks to the confidence level you can have in this business of reading a Keepa chart and being able to predict with reasonable accuracy what's going to happen if I go buy a bunch of this thing, right? Which that's what business is all about. It's about putting your capital at risk on fairly confident bets,
Yeah,
right? In a faith in the future that you can see before other people experience. And something I love about this business model is once you're decent, I'm assuming, you spend a lot of time looking at Keepa charts. I'm kind of just assuming here, but
yeah,
we
a
all
couple.
do. You can get really good at it and you can protect your capital unlike any other business I've ever seen where you're meaning your worst case scenario is I break even. Like that's if just everything falls apart.
Yeah,
I'm breaking even with a really high degree of confidence. And if things go the way I think they will, it's going to be good. And if things go the way I think they might, it's going to be really good. Like you can do that at scale in this business, right? So talk me through that a little bit. Like, how confident are you? You never feel like you're rolling the dice 50-50 here. I don't know. Like you're going in pretty confident on these. Talk me through that a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, like this week we had an ASIN. I think we put $100,000 of inventory on just one specific ASIN.
Hmm.
But it's like I know the product, I know the brand, I know the price point. I know it's like the best price point we've seen in 8 months. And in that 8 months, this is equivalent to that best price point. So it's kind of just like I'm tracking these products, keep my eye on it. And when I know that hits that price, I'll buy 2, 3 months of inventory. But the only way I learn those issues, those fails, those things like that is by buying not sometimes at the right price and taking a little loss or breaking even. And then when you actually like, all right, this product is in the money, like so in the money, there's no way to go wrong on it. You unload on it and then you spend a lot on it. So it's like, I guess just understanding your product and just like the brand, the product, you know, like your return rate on stuff, just things like that just really will help you, especially once you know what you're doing and you're at like you start getting the scale because like people always say OA is dead, and then you realize that they only tried for a month, and you're like, yeah, well, no crap. It's you. If it was free money, just
Yeah.
anybody would do it. But
Yeah.
no, it takes time to learn it. You got to get the skill, and once you get the skill, it gets incredibly easy.
Yeah. It's such a stable marketplace. The data we have available to us, the tools we have available to us, there's so much stability here compared to, I love talking to people who have tried a bunch of other businesses and then discover this. They always have such a different perspective than people who their first business was this. And like you said, they try it for a couple of weeks and go, oh, that doesn't work. There's a skill set you need to develop here. There's patience required. But again, your story, man, I'm going to let you go in here in a minute. I got a hard break coming up at me, but I want to hear if there's anything else on your mind. But the thing that I probably love most about you and your story, your high energy, you have an abundance mindset about all this. Like, yeah, just go do it yourself. Look, this is how it works. It can be done, right? And you've achieved at a very high level, which inspires and encourages people. You- You're one of those people, and then one of the reasons I this podcast has been so fun for me for 1,100 episodes is a lot of our episodes are people who are achieving at such a high level that it's an intimidating thing. So I've begun interviewing people their first $10,000 month. Like, let's just, right. Okay, I can see the path from where I am to that. But you're one of those guys that's like on the other side of the bell curve. Like you've got a serious operation and it's all OA. I love that. I just
Yeah.
love something I appreciate about you, Stephen, is you've given me something in my arsenal that I can pull out when people say, oh, OA is dead. I'm like, you got this kid over here doing 10
Yep.
million OA. What do you have to say about that? So,
Yep. Couldn't figure out how to write his name in high school, but actually that's a joke. But
right.
like, special class. But yeah, no, he can figure out a way. It's leaning into your edge and what it is. Whatever you're really good at, whatever you find that works,
Mhm.
just scaling that to the max. And yeah, sometimes you start scaling Amazon, even if you're newer, maybe you're doing 20, 30, 40K a month. Like, oh, this is the max I can get. No, it's not. Because you got to always stay in stock. And that's a big thing right there too. Like, just making sure you're buying enough to stay in stock if you know the product and your price points. Because if you stay in stock, you can probably double your business just on that one thing. So I know you have a hard stop too. I'd start opening that up more, but yeah.
No, it's outstanding feedback or outstanding episode and answers to the questions. And, I wasn't necessarily looking to deep dive into a whole lot of detail today beyond just what's possible. Let's inspire and encourage people. And we've accomplished that. And I'd love to have you back again. And anytime you want to contribute, content or advice or, yeah, we're here serving a large group of sellers every day in this organization. And so if there's things that you see or perceive that could be helpful to others, please keep an open line of communication with me. You got my text.
Yeah.
Let's keep things rocking. You're an inspiration and an encouragement to a lot of people. And I appreciate you making some valuable time, man. And have safe travel. And what are your travel plans? You said you're going to go to Miami and live in a Hyatt here for a few months. Like, what's the?
Yeah, and then I'll go to Asia for a bit, and then
Yeah,
I'll bounce around. I'm all over the place. I
yeah,
like to keep it on the move. It's like,
yeah,
oh wait, for
yeah,
life.
yeah. Well, at some point, man, just from a dude in his 50s with some grandkids, find that right girl, settle down, start building that family. I mean, I've had a lot of rewarding seasons in life, but something about having, I got two of my grandkids in the other room right here. I can hear them in there playing. That's a special time of life. And you don't want to be an 80-year-old when you start enjoying it. So just a little advice from an older dude to a young man. But I'm super excited by your story. Every time I run into you, you've got an energy that's infectious. And I feel encouraged. I think the listeners will as well when they hear this episode. So thanks for your time today, buddy.
Anytime. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, God bless you, man. Hey,
God
for
bless
the
you.
listeners who hung out with us today, if this was one of the first episodes you've heard, I've got some good news for you. I alluded to it earlier. We've got, at this point, 1,100 episodes, and the vast majority are interviews with successful students. So if you want to be inspired and encouraged by what's possible, that's what this show is all about. We're so glad you hung out with us today. Keep listening. We'll have more great episodes for you very soon. Thanks again, Stephen. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you. Thank you. Hey,
Bye.
Jim.